Welcome to the channel, everyone. My name is Nick. For those that are new to the channel, hopefully by the end of this video, you do become a subscriber. So over the last couple of weeks, we've been witnessing Hedera actually making a lot of moves in expanding its overall ecosystem. Yesterday, I did talk about how 2025 is going to be a very big year for Hedera, and I think a lot of these announcements really kind of not only confirm that, but it also verifies that Hedera is not here, for the hype and speculation. They are here to not only build out the ecosystem, but target specific major narratives that are now heating up around the institutional and enterprise side of things. Number one, we look at this announcement, which is we're excited to announce that Linkpool has integrated with Hedera, introducing its enterprise-grade RPC services to help accelerate institutional RWA, so tokenization, and DeFi applications on the network. With Linkpool's RPC services, the network now benefits from enhanced performance for dapps. Low latency RPC connectivity improves application speed, responsiveness, and execution reliability. Seamless smart contract execution. Developers can interact more efficiently with Hedera's core services, ensuring streamlined data and transaction processing. Cost-effective infrastructure. Linkpool's scalable and reliable RPC architecture supports a diverse range of use cases, from retail DeFi projects to institutional-grade stablecoin ecosystems. As we continue to scale institutional and enterprise development on Hedera, we anticipate Linkpool's RPC services will help further them to deploy on the network. And this is actually very exciting because, again, I talk about XRP, right? If you guys did watch, a lot of the recent XRP content on this channel, then you already know and you are aware that institutional grade adoption is heating up in a huge way. In fact, institutional DeFi, in my opinion, is going to be the next big catalyst to really bring in the next 100 billion, possibly even $1 trillion into the space, because institutions right now are tokenizing. The next step is DeFi applications built around tokenized assets, because they're not just going to bring money on chain just to have it sit here. No. It's going to be, bringing that money on chain and then targeting specific use cases built around it. And this is where a lot of these networks like Hedera start to shine big, because of their efficiencies to actually build out solid applications that are very easy to utilize, number one. Number two, the efficiencies around fees and settlement times and things like that really allow them to be very incentivized networks. So I think that this is huge. And it's just one of many announcements. The next one is over here. Now, this one, to a lot of people, it might not seem like a big announcement, but it is. We're excited to announce that Zeptagon is integrating the UNDP Digital Public Good, DPG, National Carbon Registry with the Hedera Guardian. Through this, any country, government, or organization that decides to use the registry will have the option to digitize and tokenize their carbon markets on Hedera. The UNDP's DPG National Carbon Registry is designed to help countries manage data and processes related to trading carbon credits. National registries are essential for tracking carbon projects, verifying data, and preventing greenwashing. By integrating the DPG NCR with the Hedera Guardian, the largest digitalized and open source methodology library in the world, the NCR now has the option to enable digitization of carbon markets at both national and international levels, deeper data integrity and auditing, better decision-making processes, automation of compliance reporting. The NCR is already being piloted in a variety of countries. Here it is, supporting carbon marketplaces and therefore scaling the impact of digital carbon markets across the world. Following this integration, we greatly look forward to helping drive climate impact globally. And remember what Hedera has always, stated. We want to bring the balance sheet of the world on chain. This is how you get there. And a lot of people will question this, and they, think that, oh, this is just, one big, nothing burger, if you will. But this is actually huge. And it's huge because a lot of these enterprise companies out there and a lot of these organizations have mandates put on them. They have mandates put on them to track and trace their carbon offsets or, their carbon usage. So when we think about that, this is a huge one. This is a huge one for Hedera, because we also know that a lot of enterprises and a lot of those organizations and those big players, even countries, governments, etc., they will tap into the Hedera Guardian. which also means transactions on the network, which also relates to revenue for the network. This is a very big one, and I'm actually very excited about this. On top of that, I want to go over here to this post that I saw from May from Hashpack, and we have the biggest takeaway that I see for 2025 onward is that companies are interested in enterprise-grade DLTs, and Hedera is one of, if not the best, in delivering on those expectations. Uptime, speed, security, governance, predictable fees as well. This combo doesn't exist anywhere else. And you know what's funny about this? There was recently an interview with Charles Atkins, the CEO of the HBAR Foundation, and this is from the A Hive Mind podcast. And we have founders can't build sustainable models on unpredictable fees. Charles Atkins, CEO of the HBAR Foundation, shared one piece of feedback that stuck with him. One thing we appreciated most about Hedera is the fixed cost. I can't go to my CFO and say that my financial model is broken because a monkey picture got popular. Predictability matters. And again, this highlights exactly what May is saying over here. Like, if we're talking about enterprise and institutional grade adoption, they're going to choose networks where they have predictable fees, where everything is broken down to them, perfectly. When you are utilizing Hedera, everything is so transparent, everything is so consistent. That is exactly what sells these enterprises and these institutional players to tap into your network to build out, any sort of use case or even just adopt the network for specific, workflows. It's the number one reason why ServiceNow chose Hedera as not only becoming a GC on the network, but also building out solid applications on Hedera as well. And ServiceNow powers 80% of the Fortune 500. But check out this video clip from this podcast, and this is Charles Atkins talking about this.
Startup founders, where every penny counts and they want to build on a network, are they going to be able to manage their burn rate properly and understand that at scale? If all of a sudden there's huge gas fee fluctuations, it becomes really difficult for startup founders to manage burn rate properly, but also enterprises to do any forward financial forecasting. One of the council members tell me, they said, the one thing we appreciate most about Hedera is the fixed cost, because I can't go to my CFO and say that my financial model's broken because a monkey picture got popular.
And, this is correct, because I said this back in 2022, right? We saw the land announcement from Bored Ape Yacht Club, right? Those mints on Ethereum cause gas fees to be over $3,000, which means if you were sending $5 to a friend, you were paying upwards of $3,000 to move that $5. Let me ask you this. Does that sound like a network that will achieve mass adoption or target scalable financial use cases? This is why the whole idea and everything that we see around, what is the best network in this space or what's the largest network in this space, it's all fake. It's all nonsense. Does Ethereum really deserve to be in the second spot? No. That's like, it's equivalent to, Amazon being like in the 50 spot in terms of one of the largest companies or most valuable companies out there. And then in the number 2 spot is a company that doesn't actually move anything. They just have a lot of inventory in their warehouses. That's basically it. Because although Ethereum has a lot of TVL, right? It has a lot of total value locked. That value's not being traded or moved 24/7 because it can't. The network is not efficient enough for, large transactable use cases. It's not efficient for anything at scale. And the same could be said about Bitcoin. That's why we look at what is the next big thing. We look at these utility-based projects and these networks that are extremely efficient, that are targeting enterprises and institutions, because at the end of the day, these are the networks that will be chosen. And you know what's crazy about this? There was recently a big event that got announced on May 27th in Frankfurt, and this is going to be with policymakers, financial leaders, and innovators. They're going to be gathering at the Digi Euro DEC 25 to discuss CBDC, stablecoins, and the future of digital finance. And this is actually with the LF Decentralized Trust. You guys already know, Linux Foundation. And what's funny about this is you got to remember, that Hedera just completely released Hiro, or Hero, if you will, to the Linux Foundation. And this is an organization that has massive amounts of enterprises and institutional players tied to it. I mean, just to look at this, right? Like, look at some of the vendors in this vendor directory. I mean, it's kind of crazy that these are the types of names tied to the Linux Foundation. And by the way, it's hundreds of, major companies, organizations, institutional players, enterprises. I want everyone to focus on some of these connections that Hedera has. And even more recently, on March 17th, there was a post by Soramitsu that said that they're expanding the use of Hyperledger IORA. I hope that I'm saying that correctly. I'm probably not. To an open source blockchain framework for secure digital asset and identity management. And this is actually a part of the Linux Foundation's decentralized trust. It simplifies blockchain adoption with a scalable, permissioned architecture, robust security, and seamless integration for enterprises and developers. And if we actually look at this this company, Soramitsu, well, it's basically not even a company, it's like a network. It bridges cutting-edge blockchain technology with real-world business and government needs. This is about creating national payment systems, building CBDCs for governments, developing blockchain-based savings bonds. Like, when we think about some of these connections or some of the names that are tied to the Linux Foundation, like, look at the partners of Soramitsu. Guys, the list is substantial here. And it also includes a lot of big banks, a lot of big, companies like Panasonic, for an example. When we look at these organizations that Hedera is working with or tied to, or, has their open source code base, tapped in, we could kind of start to see something happening behind the scenes and what it could lead to. It kind of reminds me of Finos, or Finos, if you will, right? There was recently an event with them because, again, Finos and Hedera are, tapped in with each other. But this was unlocking trust in Web3 and AI. Explore the future of trusted public DLTs, decentralization, and AI-powered financial use cases. And what's crazy about this, like, look at the members of Finos. Like, look at this. Platinum members: Citi, BMO, which is the Bank of Montreal, Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, Morgan Stanley, NVIDIA, Protect AI, Royal Bank of Canada, UBS, American Express, Capital One, BlackRock, Bank of America, Deutsche Bank, Discover, the DTCC, and then Hedera's here, next to Intel, Lloyd's Banking Group, the London Stock Exchange Group, Japan Securities Clearing Corporation, Microsoft, Moody's, NatWest. I mean, guys, this is insane. When we think about these companies, when we think about these organizations, they're sitting down, they're talking to Hedera, they understand what Hedera is doing, they know how big Hedera will be. Hedera being a member of this organization is significant because it's not just about networking, it's not just about being a company tied to this organization. You got to understand that this is all based on building out solid projects for the future. Like, here's some of the membership benefits: brand recognition, talent attraction and retention, proposed new projects to be hosted by the foundation as per our governance, which means a lot of the members that are already tapped in could utilize those projects as well. Access to the governing board, influence, direction, and investment, training and certification, proactive support, priority access, gain exclusive insights, positioning, host runtime, and environments as well. But what's crazy to me is, like, there's a lot of networking happening between these names, right? Like, these are massive names that, could be talking to Hedera, could be planning around utilizing Hedera possibly. We already know NVIDIA and Intel are working with Hedera, for an example. We know that a lot of these public companies are also on the GC list. And when you look at the About section under Finos, which is the Fintech Open Source Foundation, it's an umbrella organization under the Linux Foundation, which we already know that Hedera released their open source code base to. whose purpose is to accelerate collaboration and innovation in financial services through the adoption of open source software standards and best practices. Their mission is to promote innovation and interoperability in financial technology through industry-wide collaboration on open source software and open standards, which means all of these members are technically working together on this. Foster a vibrant technical community comprising financial technology, consumer service, and solution providers and other constituents, and also provide a trusted, neutral forum for community collaboration by offering an efficient, compliant, open source collaboration infrastructure and transparent, community-driven technical governance. So again, like if we are thinking about this logically, almost every Web 2 and Web 3 player are kind of working together if they are a part of organizations like this. And in this case, yeah, Hedera's tied into this. In fact, Hedera's like one of like the only few members on here that's based in the Web 3, side of things, which is kind of crazy if you think about it, because look at all of the other names on this list, but then you have Hedera. Like that's just wild to me. And we have people still sitting around saying and wondering, why will Hedera even be a big name? Why? Well, it's because of the connections. It's because of the networking that they've been doing. And then you think about the network efficiencies and you look at the stats behind it and you just understand how big Hedera will be from doing a little bit of research, reading, and connecting the dots. To me, Hedera is going to be one of the biggest players out there. In fact, I think that when we look into the future, HBAR will probably be one of the most valuable digital assets in this space. So with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on if you guys have more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord down in the description below. And with that being said, guys, it's been Nick. Thanks for watching. Peace out.